Hi, thank you for watching this video today. The purpose of this video is to give you a quick little hands-on view of the changes that has happened to our portable radios as we hand them back after what I think is probably the third or fourth, what they call a touch or reprogramming that we have had. Now, today we are only going to talk about what your radio can currently do, not what eventually you'll be able to do. Now, just as a high-tech way of showing is we have always been under what's called the EDAX system. That's what we've had forever. It is old, it's antiquated, and for the purposes of some law enforcement agencies and the state, they want to move to the P25, which allows more bandwidth and things that are just well beyond my need to know. So today, we're just going to be talking about the EDAX. Now, some of y'all will remember when we got these new radios, we were kind of like, what happened is over the years, volunteer departments had bought some radios, been given some radios, as well as gotten grants for radios. So what the county chose to do is to buy the same radio, every department, every user, everywhere you need it. The only thing that comes with it is there is a property of Mobile County Communications District, which means we're going to be held a little more accountable to our radios. So if you lose it, you damage it, you let me know as soon as possible, because we have insurance to repair these radios and to fix them, and we can keep right with the county so they don't give us much grief. All right. Now, one of the things that has taken so long, and please don't look at this like you're trying to remember anything, but we've had to negotiate with no more than 5 different consultants. Not because they didn't like the other consultants, it's because they wanted like 5 different opinions. And it is showing all the channels that we are going to have. It talks about how long we hold a button, what comes up when you turn on the radio, things like that. A long 5-page document that has been the bane of my existence, but we have it still. All right, so there's the radio. I'm going to take the antenna off just to make it easier to see stuff. We're just going to run around the radio. All right, first thing, power knob on top. We all know that. All right, we have a knob here that is going to allow us to change channels. The official word for it is groups, but we're just going to call them channels because it's easier. We have 2 family switches here. That'll be discussed. And the red switch. Now, since we're here at the red switch, just going to go ahead and touch on it real quick. Hold down the switch 1 Mississippi, it turns on. You can't turn it back off from the radio. We have to get with county EMS, let them know that it was an accidental set or a training thing, because trust me, I know from personal experience, if you're pressing this button, especially with your hands in a pair of gloves, you don't necessarily know how often you are hitting this button and you're turning it on and off. If the emergency button is on, I'm going to get a call over the radio saying you are getting an emergency signal from 4304, radio belonging to B.W. Cox. We'll quickly try to figure out where that person is on scene, and if it is a mistake, we call them. If not, we go to a Mayday protocol and try to figure out what's going to go on from there. All right, the side, we have basically our enter button or select. We have our reset button, which does things like turns on the screen light, or if you're in the middle of a menu, you can just press to reset it. This is your press to talk, PTT button. All right, we just hold it, talk, you'll hear the beep, all that kind of stuff. Over here, we have where you can connect up to, this is where they connect up to program the radios, but normally we see them when we have the collar mics, or if you have a cover. If it's like this radio here, you're going to have a cover on it before the first year. They've been ordered and they are on the way. The keypad for how we're running it right now is pretty much not anything to be concerned about. We'll show you one or two things with the keypad here to help you get out of something you might have accidentally stepped into, but the keypad right now is not important. We don't have to select our towers anymore or anything like that. So we turn on our radio. Okay, now when we turn on our radio, if it'll collect up to a tower, it automatically comes up to fire alarm if your channel selector is right. I'll explain that in a minute. It's also set to automatically scan DI Fire 1 and DI Fire 2. That's all. So it's not scanning all over the place. You as an individual can make changes to what you want to scan, but in the end, all we're going to be scanning and monitoring is fire alarm, DI Fire 1, DI Fire 2. All right. Now, how do we change these channels? It's going to be hard for me to show you with both the screen and the knobs, but the way we do it now is you have the knobs on top and you are just turning. So DI Fire 1, DI Fire 2, mutual aid, and just so on. Okay, we have 16 in the A group. Okay, now this is going to take you just messing with the radio a little bit to get familiar with it. Turn it to the B group, and we have a whole batch of other channels. Okay, but for the most part, because it has the air ops, the mutual aid fire, the mutual aids, and our channels, we are not going to swap back. It used to be that we could turn our radio off, turn it back on, and the screen would be fine. No, you're going to have to turn on your radio and turn your knob back to fire alarm. Okay? All right. Now, that's pretty much it. It's not too hard with this, luckily. All right, there are ways to get further into it, but we're not going to need to. Some of the things you might read about this radio, we are not permitted to do right now, such as individually call single radios, change different things as far as the programming. We just don't want to do that. Now, one day, who knows when, someday, you might see the different towers go away. Bila Battery, Seven Hills, Moa, Burns, and all it's going to say is Mobile. No matter what tower you are hooked to, it's going to say Mobile, as in Mobile County Communications District.
Fire alarm, Central 605 on scene.
Central, copy on scene.
Now, the way this is going to change is they're going to send out a signal that as soon as you turn on your radio one morning, it's just going to click. We should not have to have another touch, as they call it, where they come out and they actually mess with the radio. Now, understand what I just showed you is all you got to do to work your radio right now. Turn it on, have the knob at fire alarm, and have your switch at A. Okay? Now, if you're wanting to change your scanning, things like that, you hit menu and unlock. And I didn't unlock it, so menu, and see it says it's unlocked. Now, it goes through all my different channels here. That is the new thing you will see when they do swap over, if you can see it, where it says Mobile. And because what it is they actually have both the EDAX, all right, they have the EDAX and the old system in here. Just right now, nobody's monitoring the new system yet until they get everybody programmed in. They're like, they still have to do the whole sheriff's office. So right now we're EDEX. One day it'll just switch to P25. And we'll get out and let you all know when this happens in case you're wondering. But if for some reason you get wandering around and you accidentally get off into the 700 territory, or you don't hear anything, this is how we're going to get out. And it's just down, 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 down. And we're going to get, for our case, we're going to do bottle of battery. But I'm at work today, so it's burns. Thing to do as quick as you can, lock that bugger again. Okay, so lock. The reason for that is you stick it in your pocket, you carry it in your hands, you're making all these little beepy sounds. Now all it does is turn on the lights. All right. Now all of your radios do have your name on them and your LID, which is your digital identification for the radio. You might see a little microphone there. That is supposedly to be a noise canceling device, which does not work in the wind or in large buildings. So we're programmed not to have that on. All right. So please look at this. Please mess with your radio. See how it's doing. If you have problems with your radios, batteries, break it, bend an antenna too bad, please let me know and we'll take care of it. If you have any suggestions for programming, I don't know what to say. That might be a little later. We're going to work on our ability to communicate with PD. But as with all this stuff, all this here, it is going to be a little bit of a challenge. All right, so right now, we're going to be dispatched on fire alarm. We're going to go to our DI Fire 1 for incidences on the island, such as just something where spread out big wreck, drowning, things like that. If we started having other people, we are going to switch to mutual aid fire, and that will be okay. Now, when we do have the swap over from this to that happens automatically, we'll get a few more channels. But when we get to that, we'll get with you again, maybe try this video. I hope this hasn't confused you. If you got any problems, just let me know. Have a good day.